Hey there, welcome to Healthy TV, episode number 84. I'm your host, Dr. John McPhee, and on today's show, I am in the beautiful sunshine, and I'm going to talk all about why sunshine is so good for you and about how much you should be getting every day. This spring, I'm trying to lock in a new habit, and that's to get outside every lunch hour for about 20 minutes just to get some sun exposure. I find it really, not only does it help me feel better, but I also know that it's helping to kickstart a bunch of chemical pathways in my body. And we've probably all heard of some of those. One is that when we get our skin exposed to sunlight, and particularly the UVB rays, that actually is the trigger to create vitamin D in the body. And vitamin D is super important. Pretty much every cell in your body requires interaction with vitamin D. It's super valuable for your immune system. In order for your immune system to work properly, you need adequate amounts of vitamin D. And sun exposure is actually the best method to actually build up adequate amounts of vitamin D in the body. In fact, about 15 minutes of sun exposure, if you've got about 70% of your skin exposed, is enough to generate about 10,000 IUs. There's a huge variation, but that seems to be the consensus. About 15 minutes, or if you want to look at it another way, make it more appropriate to you, the guideline would be to about half the time it takes you to start to get a little bit pink, right? To start to get a little bit of a burn. So for me, that at this time of year, that's about 12 to 15 minutes, because I'm pretty white. I'm a pretty fair skinned guy. And the beauty here is that as your body gets more exposed to sun, then it actually builds up the capacity to adapt to that stress. We all understand this, right? The beginning of the season, we tend to burn a little bit more quickly than at the end. And that's actually your body's adaptation process. It's super smart, and it's building up the resiliency to this stress that comes from the sun. Now, I think it's important to kind of reframe, because the sunshine itself gets demonized in our culture. Lots of bad things happen when we get exposed to too much sun. But in fact, we've evolved, in really partnership with the sun. It's been a constant in our evolution. And so it kind of doesn't make sense that something that's been around literally since the dawn of our species, and way before that it would actually cause that would be necessarily a bad thing for us. It really comes down to how much and your ability to adapt to that stress. So take home points: get outside every day. We need to about that 15-minute mark at this time of year, particularly in Canada, with 70% skin exposure. So, top off in shorts with lots of skin exposed. Don't stay out too long. If you start to get pink, then cover up, get in the shade. The other thing is sunscreen. While it does provide, protect your skin from it getting actual damage, the sunscreen itself actually also prevents your body's ability to kickstart those chemical processes that happen in the skin. So the vitamin D production, but also there's a whole bunch of other pathways, chemical processes that get kickstarted by the exposure to UVB rays. So it's really important that you get that naked skin exposure to UVB rays on a consistent basis. And again, that's going to help your skin to actually adapt to the stress so that you can withstand more exposure as the year goes on. So give that a try, and know that every time you stand outside for a few minutes in the sunshine, you're actually doing your body good. You're creating health in the body. It's supplying a fundamental requirement that your body needs in order to be healthy. All right, until next week, have a great week.